Okay, good evening. Really sorry for the delay. I forgot to inform everyone. I had some visitors over tonight, and that took longer than I expected it to. So I'm late, but I'm here anyways. And yeah, so tonight I wanted to do some very minor things before I move on to other stuff. It's been a full month now of daily streams, and it's still happening, and I'm hoping to do this for 2 more months, but, we'll see how it goes. For now, though, last time we hooked up the quest system into the game, and this time I want to show off a couple of things and work out a couple of minor things, and that should be good enough for a small hour of a stream. Yeah. Okay, tomorrow should be back to the usual schedule. Alright, so the first thing I want to show off is a thing that Scymtym did for with CLIM. So CLIM has an inspector, and he updated that to actually, work in real time, which is something I complained about on previous streams, where I was talking about how annoying it was that I couldn't see, updated values of things. So let me show this off real quick. So here's the inspector, here's the game, and so this is the main instance here. And as you can see, the frame time is updated continuously, and we can go into the level here, and for instance, we can go into, yeah, it's a bit glitchy right now, yeah, because of the double buffering is apparently a bit of a hack, so there's some problems. But I do want to show off some cool things. So for instance, can go into the objects here, and for instance, let's get ourselves the region. From there, we can get into, if this thing stops freaking out, maybe I can, oh my god, yeah, okay. That's no good. Yeah, I think the double buffering freaks out if there's a scrolling involved. That's a shame. Can I check player? Select. Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, so the point is you can see all the values being updated in real time here, which is quite nice. I really like that. So I hope they can get the flickering from the double buffer fixed soon. But yeah, this is really cool. Really cool. One thing that I'm not quite sure...
You can focus on objects in the right-click menu.
Yes, that's what I did, right? With the expand object, or what was it? Select, I think. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit... I don't know. I don't know CLIM at all. It's one of those things that I always wanted to look at, but never took the time to. So I probably also don't quite know my way around things. But in any case, this is really nice. And it could become very handy for debugging things that happen in real time. And catching like edge cases and stuff like that that annoyed the hell out of me before. Yeah, this is nice. It was really easy to hook this up as well. Just to show you that, all I needed for that was this stuff here. Right. So I just define a global for the inspector. After initializing, I create a new one for that. And then on update, I just call that on every 10th frame. So that's really simple to add in. And yeah, it just worked out of the box. Very nice. Very nice. Right, so that was one thing I wanted to show off. One thing that I do need to work on still is the question of the evaluation environment for dialogue and things like that, which I tried to work on earlier today, but I've been really busy, and so I haven't gotten to that yet. I also made a small sprite for another character, so just an idle animation and a small profile. There it is. And that's it. So not a lot being done, but things being done regardless. Things load. Okay, good. Alright. So, yeah. The lexical environment for forms in the dialogue and the quest system is what I wanted to look at next. And the problem I'm facing mostly is how to make this in a protocol that's useful or extensible. I know I don't really need to do that because I don't expect there to be ever 2 users of this quest or dialogue system at all. So there should probably only ever be one of them, meaning that it's not really necessary, but I would still prefer to do the clean approach if I can. So the problem is that when these compile forms are called, I need to have some kind of argument that allows me to specialize depending on the user, and there's no real argument that's immediately handy. The only thing that is the assembly, and so what we would need to do is allow the user to create a custom assembly class so that they can specialize on this. That's fine enough, but the problem is that the compile methods here don't allow for that. They just use walk T, and so I would need to revise that. And I think I'm actually going to do that. So let's see here. Man, my birds are annoying. Let me just clean things up. Okay. Do we have a generic for this? Probably not. I guess we can add a... Or... no, this is fine. And then I also need one in optimizers, because of the compile. Okay, I think that should be good enough. So now, in the interactable, we can create a subclass, dev class assembly, and we can create a method on, what was it called? Wrap lexen. Did I even call that properly everywhere? Yes, I think. Yes, okay. So now, using this, I can actually inject all the sort of lexical environment stuff that I need to allow my functions to perform easily. So, probably want to do... probably want to access the world, and the region, and the chunk. So let's do that. World, unit, world, level. How do we get the current region? Oh, it's just called region. Okay, never mind. Probably actually name things after symbols instead of keywords too. Let's do that. World. And the chunk. Is there an easy way to do a memoizing so that it checks if... I'm wondering if I should instead do something like, you know, world, and that does a memoize, so that it doesn't always try to retrieve the unit if it's not necessary. Yeah, let's do that instead. Could do a macro for that as well, but who cares right now? Region. Or maybe I should do a macro for that. Would certainly look a lot cleaner than that. Is there anything else that actually player with the keyword text box? Okay, that should take care of that. And the chunk needs to be... Actually, let's make a macro after all. Where do I want to put that stuff? So many things. With memo. Let's Okay. Okay, that should work, I hope, maybe, perhaps. Where's memo? 2, 3. And now if we put a print in there, it should only happen once. Yep. Good. Works. So that's a memoizing macro thingy. So now we can just write with memo.
Will we now remember everything?
Probably not. Actually, there's a problem if bindings depend on other bindings, because then that won't work. Great. So, right, world, unit. Do I need to know the chunk though? Maybe. Chunk. Whoops. That's fine. Okay. Let's load her up. There we go. Okay. That's good on that. The problem is in the quest system we have a similar thing. Right. So... In the quest system we both call compile form and to compile itself without an assembly at the ready. So I think we need to have a way to pass an assembly prototype to this, which I honestly don't know how to do right now. How do we want to do this? Just need another argument or something. This also ties into the entire loading mechanism, which isn't defined yet at all. That's another problem to watch out for. I've been thinking about a file representation of the quest stuff. Ideally, I would like it to be still representable in text. So I've thought about something akin to, you know, a mixed dot file kind of thingy, where you do, like you would have, let's make this in macros mode, where you still would have things like, you know, the actual description of a quest being like, get the cat or something, and then you would have for each task you would have another section, get this damn catty, you know. What else do we have? Status storyline. So you know, just to repeat the example. And then instead of representing the way in which everything is connected as an instruction or something, I would have an explicit section that ties these things together. So everything would get a name, A, for instance, and B, I don't know, or I guess A1. And then you would have a section for connections, which would say, this is actually a bad example. Need another two. I can't. Something like this, and then you would have a section that does like A1, A2, A1, A3, and then A2, A4, A3, A4, and then A4. You know, something like that. So a very, very simple way of structuring these dependencies in something that's much more visible. I've also thought about other ways of doing that. So for instance, like A1, A2, and then, you know, but that quickly gets out of hand and is a pain in the ass to parse. Especially if your graphs get any complicated at all. If anything, this would have to be like something like this, but yeah. So I've been thinking about something like this for a storage format, mostly because this still retains the ability to be written by hand. But I don't know if I want to do that. I really don't know.
What would be the problem?
Well, on one hand, it's inefficient to store it like this, so reading the data out is going to be annoying to do and slow. It would of course be much easier, much more extensible, much more future-proof to do it in S-expression format, like we did for the region format. So that's the primary problem. The other one is, you know, again, we would have to write syntax parsers for all of this stuff, and not only that, we also would have to write serializers, and not only would we have to be able to translate from the AST of markless to our own graph
Fair
representation, we would also have to go the other way again in order to be able to serialize out. So it's a lot of work for very little benefit? I don't know. I'm very conflicted on this. Because on one hand, I like the idea of being able to write things in text by hand. Because that's just... yeah. But on the other, it just seems like a lot of effort for something that it can only ever end up being subpar. Like, I don't like the idea of being dependent on an editor to do things, as in a specific special purpose kind of UI. I don't like that idea very much, but I also don't like this idea of having a format that's just a half-baked compromise because you just can't do any better with text. Graphs are really just one thing where text is horrendous. I don't know, maybe there would be some way of, like, a common format that could be used so I can leverage other programs, but I kind of doubt it. That there's anything like that to use. Okay, anyway, problem remains, how do I get the information about the assembly in here? I guess we could do the same thing where we add a method to create an assembly for a quest. And I don't know. Maybe that will be the best option after all. Method make assembly quest. So let's need to export that. Done. Where is that? So now I can hook that in. Okay. Oh, right, this should be... Okay. Now we just need to hook that into this, into make storyline, I guess. Let's add an optional quest type quest. Well, let's make that a key. Okay. So now that we got that in main, we should be able to, when we make the storyline quest type quest. Now it should use our own thingy. So once the quest is complete, ZF. Let's see. Location player. Okay, that should be obvious enough, I hope. Cannot walk AST. Whatever, man. What? Oh, it's called form. Whoops. Use specify value. Oh my god. Is it? Shouldn't be, not there. Fine, maybe it got eliminated. Probably did. Oh boy. Sorry. Wait, what? Why is it a... Why is it a keyword? I removed that. Does it automatically turn it into a keyword? Huh? Oh. No, it's there. I'm a dumbass. Okay, finally. Yay, it works. Hooray! Lexical environment augmentation works. Amazing.
Mission complete.
Game over, yeah! Stuff. Not worth going through all that to document it. Okay. That's pretty cool. We got that done. Which leads us to thinking about the storage format after all. I wasn't sure whether I would have time to do that now, but apparently we do. So let's think about that. I suppose the easiest would be to use a very similar format to the one used for the region. So we can also use the same save and load mechanism that we already got for that. So region, yeah. Load region. Oh, we call it load region. Yeah, that's actually fine. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Should probably put that in world, to be honest. Interactable. So let's put that stuff. Okay, so we need similar functions to save the world, which won't save the region, but rather storyline and the current maps. Actually, probably gonna need two different... No, wait. So this is a problem. I can't save the world instance because it contains compiled functions to which we no longer know the source. So that's not possible. Need to somehow save the original graph representation. That's no longer available once we have a world object. So I guess there is no saver for that. Alright. Well. Fed up with this whirl. Also, question of how to represent the world. Should that be again a zip file? And if so, should that contain all the regions itself as zip files? Or what? I don't know. Don't know. Another worry I have about the editor for the quest stuff is because, you know, how are the dialogue parts themselves edited? Because having to use a plain text thingy that has no markup or other support for it will be quite painful. But involving an external editor would also complicate things again. I don't know. Tooling is hard. Please help. I have hit a terminal case of indecisiveness. I don't know what to do. I guess I can at least write the V0 entries for this stuff, maybe.
What are the good options you have on your mind?
I have no good options on my mind. I don't have anything on my mind. I don't know. I could do a zip file again, like for the region. But the question is, do I really need to do that? I could just probably fit everything into a single list file. And then... but if I do a zip file, then I could also bundle the regions themselves in there as well, to have one entire payload for the entire game, basically, aside from assets. But I don't know.
Sounds portable.
It does, but might also be, you know, pain in the ass and not worth it. Because, as you know, extracting zip files is by no means fast. In Lisp at the moment. Well, alright, anyway, I'm gonna...
Is Forest a concern?
It is. Loading times are bad. I don't know what currently is the worst thing, but, you know, I would like to future-proof if possible. As mentioned many times before, I'm not one to, like, dwell on performance all too much, but I would like to do so when it's a data type kind of thing. An architectural concern? I don't know. I can't decide, really. There's benefits to both, and I can't gauge them at the moment, which makes it annoying. Okay, anyway, so quest.lisp. Let's see, it's in decoder for... Another question is, do we want... We could also have individual quests and files instead, and then have each of the dialogue pieces as an individual file. Or we could have the dialogue pieces all in one file under different sections, which would complicate parsing, but would probably make editing much easier. I just don't know. Deliver me from evil, please. Ah! I feel paralyzed at this right now. And I feel like I want to do anything with this. Because I don't know what to do. Yeah, I think I need a good night's sleep on this. In the very least. Not sure what else there is to do, though. Let's look at the list of fix me's and get rid of this for now. To-dos, 20 of them. Kludges. Why are these not grouped? Right, can't save PNGs. It's not a problem right now. Missing some directives for camera control. Don't care about that. Further optimization, that's not necessary. Shift things. This. Oh, right. Yeah. This has been done, though. Okay. Another problem that's actually a thing in trial itself that I've been thinking about for a long time but still haven't found a solution for is like general settings or properties that should be configurable. So things ranging from graphics options to like audio options, but also gameplay behavior options such as, you know, text scrolling speed or what have you. So there should be some kind of extensible mechanism for a global settings thing, and also a way to, you know, provide a dialog for that to actually change these settings. So probably text scrolling speed should be a part of that instead of something I wing myself in Leaf. There's quite a few things that are in Leaf right now that could be ported over as well. Most definitely the chunk and some of the collision detection stuff could be useful over there as well, as far as it is generalizable. The dialogue system and the quest system for sure as well, those are going to go over, especially because they've been pretty much designed with extensibility in mind and not at all being tied to Leaf, aside from a couple of minor things that could be removed again. Yeah. But I'll need time for that. I need to think it over as well, so it's not something I can do right now or anytime soon because I just don't feel like it. But hey, if someone else wants to do it, great. That will be fantastic. Well, we're 8 minutes away from the usual stopping time. I know I started late, an hour late, because a visitor I had, well, let's just say I had a good evening, and the good evening lasted for a while longer than I thought it would, and so I had to start late. That's alright, at least I did something today. And as shown earlier, I did do bit of work outside of this that was just art. So I worked on some, you know, yeah, this minor animation and this minor profile, which I'm probably gonna need to revise, but probably gonna need to revise pretty much everything sometime down the road anyway. But yeah, I didn't have much time today. It was a very busy day. It was going to be even busier before someone cancelled another date I had. Oh well. Anyway, so tomorrow should be another normal stream. 2 hours of daily game dev stuff. And hopefully tomorrow, by that time, I'll also have found, or even just already started implementing, a solution for the quest file format debacle, I guess, or conundrum if you want. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it here though. Yeah, very short stream. Sorry about that. But it happens. Thanks again everyone, and have a good evening. See you tomorrow.
Alright, sounds good to me.
Yep. Bye bye.